Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of Purple in the Rainbows series. Today we're going to be talking about eye products. I have a ton, so let's just do this. Alright, I fully recognize that I just said I have a ton of eye products, but I do have 2 face products which can be doubled as eye products. So let's talk about them and get them out of the way. One is this shade in particular, which is called Blackberry. This is part of the Be Matte blush palette from City Color. And if it will stop reflecting there, you can see the shade right here. It's a nice pinky purple, so it's still wearable. My color of the, or my word of choice for this series. There it is on my hands. And I am wearing this as an eyeshadow today. The tutorial for this will be the next video in this series, but I do have it in my transition area and then also buffing out the shadows along the lower lash line as well. And I am wearing it as a blush today as well. The next face product comes from Anastasia? What? The next face product comes from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is in the Aurora palette, and it is a purpley pink kind of highlighter right here. It's in the shade Spectra, and there it is on my hands. Now, purple highlight is not one that I often go for, but I do like this on the inner corner in particular, just because it brings something a little bit different to the game. All right, now it's time for the eye products. The palettes are taking up the most space on the desk in front of me, so let's go through those first and then we'll hop over to singles and etc. So, first one I see is from Too Faced. This is the Chocolate Gold palette, and this is the shade Live in Lavish right here. Just a nice semi-metallic, almost grapish kind of color. Nice deep purple. Next up is another palette from Too Faced. This is the White Peach palette, and it has a sparkly little purple down here. It's got little bits of fine micro glitter in it, but they don't translate as being chunky on the eye or they produce a lot of fallout, anything like that. They just give a little bit of a blue shift to it while still remaining purple. And it is very smooth, very easy to apply. It's got a little bit of a black base, but it is still definitely a deep purple. I've already talked about this palette in this rainbow series, but this is the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place. The green made it into my green video, and now we're going to talk about purple. There is no shade name on this one, but it's the only purple in the palette. So it should be easy to pick out. Just a nice, true matte purple. And as with all Juvia's Place shadows, it is very pigmented and does blend very nicely. I've also talked about this palette, the Electric palette from Urban Decay. And while one might think this would be the one I'm going for, I'm going to shift on over to here, and this is Jilted. And it's what I have along my lower lash line today. And it's edging on pink, but still has a strong purple undertone to it. But it's just different. It's not a shade that I have duplicated in any other palette in my collection. Huda Beauty Gemstone Obsessions has a couple purples in here. There are the shade selections that you get, and it's these 2 in here that I wanted to include. I would include this one, but it's probably more categorized as pink than it is purple, so I'll leave it out for now. But there's these 2. Again, these don't have shade names, so I can't tell you what they're specifically called. But these shadows are a dream to work with. They are so buttery smooth. You can see the pigmentation there. As always, I have not primed my arm. If ever I do prime the surface before I swatch, I will let you know. If I don't say anything, just assume that it's not, because 9 times out of 10 it is not primed. So this is the true pigmentation of all of these shadows. Natasha Denona has recently come out with her mini Lila palette, and I have it here to show you, and it is these two on the end that I wanted to include. So this is Blue Dahlia and this is Poisonberry. God damn, when the names are on the back, it screws me up to no end. I don't know why, but it just does. Yes, Poisonberry and Blue Dahlia. All right, here we go. And that one is Blue Dahlia, and again, the other one is Poisonberry. So Poisonberry, Blue Dahlia. Also, side note, Natasha, Denona, not that you're watching, but if anybody happens to know anybody who knows somebody, pass the message along. Can we get minis for all of your palettes, please? Like the 5 pans, can you put them down to little minis? The Tropic palette, can you shove that one down to a mini as well? Maybe a mini star palette? All those ones that are like ridiculously priced, can you just narrow them down a little and bring them out as $30 little tiny palettes? Because I am all about that life. I would buy them all. Please and thank you. Okay, moving on. I have 2 palettes left. They could both probably be categorized as purple palettes in and of themselves, but I'll show you what I mean. So this is the Punked eyeshadow palette from Smashbox, part of their Cover Shot line. Packaging is cool AF, but it's what's inside that counts. So there it is. It is a cool tone palette, and it's the way to do cool tone palettes. It's not all taupes, it's not all just purple. There are grays, there are almost like almost champagne-y taupes, if that makes sense. But the one that I really wanted to show is just the more metallic-y purple, which is right here. But here is this one here. And there you have it. Last but not least for palettes is from Ace Beauty, and this is the Paradise Fallen palette. If ever there was love at first sight with a palette, it was this one. This thing's fucking gorgeous. And I had never heard of Ace Beauty. Somehow it came up on my Instagram somewhere. I don't know if it was a sponsored ad or somebody that I follow had posted something about them. However I found it, I'm very glad that I did because I fucking love it. They have 3 other palettes in this Paradise series and I want to get all of them because if they perform as well as this one does, I need them in my life. So I'm just going to swatch all 4 of these because I can't pick favorites among these. I just am really, really impressed with them. Okay, so let's see if I can figure out the names as we do this. So this one is Twilight. Next up is Eve. Oh, that's a little close. Then we have Night Sky. And then this one here is Dusk. Hold while I wash my arm off and then we'll come back and do singles. BRB. And we're back. Alright, so because a lot of these are loose pigments, I do have primer on my arm. I used the Benefit Air Patrol primer. So let's do this. First up is from Concrete Minerals. This is in the shade Queen. And it's a nice deep purple. It is what I have on the outer portion of my crease today. It's there. Star Crushed Minerals I think has come up in every one of these rainbow videos, but they have such a huge variety of loose pigments and glitters to choose from that I have some in pretty much every color category, and they perform so well that they just keep working their way into these favorites videos. So this one here, nice lilac shade, and this is called Medusa Galaxy. This is actually a UV reactive pigment, but I don't have a blacklight, so sorry. Another one from Star Crushed Minerals. This one is in the shade Audacious Plum, and again, it's just a really dark, sort of aubergine, I don't know. Might not even be aubergine at all, I just think it is. There it is, a super dark matte purple. Another brand that's had a lot of airtime in this series is Sigil inspired, and I have another one. I don't even know why I look at the bottom of it because it's all in Russian. This is called Icing. And hopefully the camera will pick up just how pretty it is. Oh, fuck me. Oh, right. It's so pretty. Next, I have a few products from Colourpop. One is one of their Superstar loose pigments. I think I'm probably the only person on the face of the earth who actually likes these things because everybody kind of dragged them when they came out. But this one's in the shade Baby Brew. Now the rest of the shades, I only have one. The rest of the shades just didn't really do it for me. They just seemed a little generic, but this one's really pretty. It's a light purple. I'm not going to make the same mistake of dumping it forward like I just did the last one. But there it is there. It's like a really sparkly light purple. There. It's just a pretty addition to eye looks. What I did with it today was I used a mixing medium, so I used this one here from Lise Wattier, and I turned it into a liner, which I have above the actual liquid liner that I applied, so I got a little creative with it. Next up is Lace from Colourpop. This is one of their Supershock shadows. There. It does have a little tiny bit of purple shimmer in it. I don't even want to call it glitter. It's so fine, but it is very pretty. Last up from Colourpop is the shade Daddy, and this is a nice matte, deeper lilac. So this is just a little sample pack that I got from Impulse Cosmetics. This is in the shade Wisteria, and it's one of their, I can't read it, Liquilites Glitter Eye Effects. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. It is so beautiful. This particular shade, I have to get the full size of it because it's so stunning. So it's basically a glitter, but in almost a liquid kind of medium. And there. I just really like to pat this on top of other shadows. It's got strong reflex there. It's got blue and purple in it, looking almost pink. And it's gorgeous. Like, it's pretty on its own, as you can see, but packed over top of other shadows, it just brings a whole new level to it. I was wearing it in the lipstick video for purple, and I freaking love it. I'll show you the texture of it up close. So it's not liquid, but it's not dry either. It's some weird jelly kind of deal. I can't describe it clearly, but it makes it really easy to work with because you don't need to use glue with it. It's not going to flake off, but it's also not runny and get messy all over the place. So I really like this. Makeup Geek Petal Pusher. It almost looks pink, but it is a very light, dusty lilac, I suppose you could call it. So let's put this one up over here. And this one's just great in the transition and in buffing out other darker shadows. Next up is a single from Makeup Forever. This is in the shade M924. And it's just a nice matte, true royal purple. Then we have Ba from Suva Beauty, and this is one of their shimmer shadows. Like, it's kind of bananas how pigmented it is. I'm having some technical difficulties. It did not record what I just said. So, okay, let's talk about it. Here is the last eyeshadow that I wanted to show you. This one is from Strobe Cosmetics. It's one of their single pans. This is in the shade Unicorn Tears. I do believe they've changed the name of it, although I'm not sure what they've changed it to. But you still should be able to find it on their website if you're interested, because they don't have a large selection to choose from. This is the only one that is a purpley blue. So that was the last eyeshadow. Then I talked about an eye pencil. This one is from Urban Decay. It's in the shade Psychedelic Sister, and the point that I was trying to make was that it is very creamy, glides on very easily. There's no tugging on the waterline or anything like that. I do wish that it was a twist up, but I'll get over it because it does work so well and it does last very long in my waterline, which is a problem that I have, is that not many pencils do. And then I was on to the last item, and it is from NYX. This is one of their strictly vinyl liquid liners. I had some of their Brilliant, Bold and Bright and Bold. I don't know what they were called. And some of their other liquid liners. Did not like them. First of all, they were not bright or bold, but they also really they crumbled and cracked and they just wiped away really easily. No longevity to them. Didn't like them. This one, on the other hand, I really, really like. It's got a brush tip, and it is rather flexible, but it still gives you a good amount of precision. The shade is really pretty. It dries very quickly and doesn't transfer all over the place, and it does last quite a long time on the eyes as well. I'm not going to go so far as to say it is waterproof and it's going to lock in forever. If you're rubbing at your eyes or they're watering, it is going to wipe away. But that aside, if those things aren't happening, then you've got a winner on your hands. So that is what I'm wearing as my eyeliner today. All right, that wraps it up for my favorite purple eye products / 2 cheek products. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for taking the time to watch this series. I am so happy that people are really enjoying this and that you're sharing your comments with me, giving me suggestions, all of that. I really appreciate that, and I am so happy that you guys are enjoying this series. It just kind of popped into my head. Wasn't really sure where it was going to lead me, but it seems to have turned into a very good thing, and I'm so happy to share this with you. I've really enjoyed the challenge of coming up with these monochromatic looks, and I would encourage you guys, just pick a color and try to make a look with just using that color, various tones of it, however you want to do it. It's fun. It's a challenge, but it's fun, and it kind of pushes you with your creativity. I don't typically view myself as being particularly creative when it comes to makeup. I think because I compare myself to all of the millions of YouTube artists or Instagram artists who are incredibly talented and incredibly creative. But I think I'm getting there. I think I'm starting to think a little bit more outside the box. There's always stuff to learn. That's why I love YouTube. I love the comments. I love the suggestions. I love going on Instagram and getting inspired by other artists. So that's just a long-winded way of me saying thank you. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. I will see you in my next video, which is going to be the tutorial for the eye look in this video and in my previous one. And until then, just be a decent human being. All right, bye for now.